podcast.
Kept your coffee cup on my nightstand. Not to reminisce, just a reminder to never go back to the life we shared. Anytime I'm feeling the urge to look at a picture, oh, I get so confused. 'Cause I swear I am so over you. My mommy told me that we shouldn't worry. Daddy told me just a good story. He said to move on and keep going. Imagine we had one more life, one more shot at sunrise. Erase everything, start with new eyes. Don't break the same track.
One, two. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
September 28th, 2023, and this is episode 354 of the PHP Ugly podcast. This is a podcast about three developers who make a living coding in PHP, run a business focused on PHP, and just enjoy PHP and tech in general. We get together every Thursday night and just talk. I'd like to thank our sponsors for this episode. Adam and Eve Adult Toy. Sorry, I gotta close some tabs. Apparently, no. PHPStorm, Honey Badger IO, and PHP Architect. As always, we also like to thank our sponsors on Patreon. We're gonna circle back around and talk about all of them a little later in the show. But for now, let me introduce the rest of the guys here with me tonight. John Congdon.
Hello.
And Tom Rada.
I do not run a PHP tech company. I am not involved in any way with PHP Architect.
That's because you turned down our offer years ago, so drop it.
Yeah.
In fact, you used us, bastard.
to
way
enrich yourself.
the way I
Bastard.
recall it.
Is that not what running a development company is? Is like using somebody to enrich yourself?
I didn't say we all ran a company. I just said run a company. Some of us run a company. PHP Architect would be that company that we run.
That's been
Gentlemen,
very busy lately.
I've been telling the current wife, I just do not feel like I can get ahead of things. Like I'm doing everything I can just to tread water right now. I don't know what's going on. It's the weirdest thing. Just so many things, so many
Didn't both your
meetings.
children
and-
do water polo?
What?
Get some water treading. Like,
What's wrong with you? Why do we have you on the show? Can you remind me?
I don't
You're just
know.
a project manager, right?
No, I'm the like loose funny guy.
Oh, gotcha. You're the guy we point to and say,
What's-
don't become this.
What's that say? The Howard Stern saying?
I don't know.
Which
Never been
one?
much of a Howard Stern
The
person.
news, the funny, and the dick.
Huh?
No clue what you're talking about. Not a clue. And I'm
Well,
a Howard Stern fan. I don't know what you're talking about.
This
there.
show just started off fantastically,
Hey,
swimmingly.
if you want to join us during this show live, head over to discord.phpugly.com and hang out with us.
It would make Eric so happy.
It would.
He delayed starting today's episode because we did not have enough viewers.
I have a threshold I'd like to hit just to make sure everybody's had time to join. To make sure everybody gets the full Harry Mack experience. So many times people join after Harry Mack. So yeah, I've been trying to be a little bit more aware of our listeners and especially the people who watch us live, and trying to small little tweaks to make things a little better here and there. See, you don't appreciate it, bastard.
What are you talking about? I put on a red shirt just because it matched you guys today.
Now we look like we're part of some cult or something.
No, that's Nike's.
See, look, Sarah missed Harry Mack. Man,
Wah, wah.
And our viewership went down by 1.
Because Harry Mack's over.
that's it. They'll come back on at the end.
Yep, that's the way it works.
Oh my goodness, John,
Yes.
we can't start with you because I've seen your Trello board, and it is baffling. So, Eric, how was your week?
We don't talk Trello off the bat, anyways. But
No, I 100% know that John's Trello board was about his week, and I do not want to start there. Eric, how was your week?
okay, all right, can't argue that.
He's not wrong.
Tom, I don't know. Like I said, it just is. I feel like I'm doing everything I can just to not fall too much further behind on the things I'm trying to get done. And it's not just like one thing. I have one of our clients. I have a upcoming 2-hour meeting because their customer wanted to talk to the IT department, and I'm like, why? We're supposed to be we're the people behind the curtain. You know, you're not supposed to talk to customers. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm typing nonstop from morning to night, and none of it's been code lately. And that just really starts to frustrate me. I get really irritated by that. But yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm at. What about you? How was your week?
My week's been interesting. I've got 3 tickets that merged into 1 ticket because they're all in the same general zone of coding. And now I'm trying to meet 3 separate specs with 3 different project managers. and dropped the ball on one of them.
That sounds like fun.
Just can I ask a question?
Yeah. It's about project management.
How many project managers do you guys have?
I'm afraid that's privileged information.
I mean, is it more than like
One.
you can count on one hand
Yeah.
or one finger?
Oh yeah.
Like one finger, this finger?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
I don't get it.
there's a lot of balls in the air, as they say. So,
Really? No ball joke from you, Tom?
nope,
I thought you were teeing yourself up that time.
nope. It's frustrating to have a ticket that should be like a 1 week, maybe 2 week thing stretch into a full month.
Ugh, welcome to my world.
Because that imposter syndrome just starts kicking in hardcore, where you're like, I have not contributed to anything for a solid month.
Yeah.
And fortunately, the ticket I'm working on has some visual changes, so everyone working on the system when they pull develop, when it merges, is going to be like, oh, this is new, this is different, this is cool, somebody worked on this, instead of those invisible changes that I normally work on where I could be here for a year and no one would have any idea that I did anything whatsoever. But it is frustrating to have stuff sort of like, well, I mean, to stack shit, to be honest, to like take shit on top of shit and say like, yeah, this doesn't work because of a change I'm working on, and then this doesn't work because of a change I'm working on, and so like I have to release all of the things at once. And one of those things has a bunch of CSS in it. So I'm just pulling at the window shades like constantly.
I thought you had front end people to do that.
We do have front end people, but the job description is full stack developer, and the front end team has their own allotment of issues.
I understand the full stack thing, but when you have people that can specialize, you should allow them to use their specialty.
I have people that can help me, but as a
you have like 20 PMs and no CSS people.
No, like this is stuff I shouldn't bother people about. Like if you want to close a window and there's an X in the top right corner, that's an answerable thing on my own accord. You should not be bothering front end team about vertical alignment and left alignment and stuff like that.
I disagree.
They've got their own weight to pull, and I am a tech lead. I should know how to search for these things myself, and I do. I figure them out. It takes me.
Oh, I can CSS, I can JavaScript too, but I know where my limit is, and I'm not great at it. Like there's an
My limit is Tailwind.
There is a good art to it that I don't have.
Absolutely. And the front end people that we have are extraordinarily good at React interfaces and components, and this is not the place I should be bothering them with that kind of stuff. They are really working on higher priority things. And I know how to look things up for myself, so I need to look them up for myself. It's just a pain in the ass.
When I do that, the front end people get pissed off because there's a better way to do it.
100%. This has not gone to code review yet. I'm going to piss off so many front end people. But that's the time to piss them off. Their job is front end code review. And when they see it, they'll throw a hot pile straight at my face and say, you did this wrong. But that's when I'm supposed to bother them.
Speaking of specialties, it's reminding me of a book I'm reading now. Have either of you read the Phoenix Project? That one too.
Yes,
the
yes.
Phoenix
Yeah.
project.
I talked about this. We talked about this a couple of years ago. Man, that thing gave me PTSD. That thing is so spot on. It is so spot on.
So there's a follow-up book that I'm in the middle of now called the Unicorn Project. So the Phoenix project was more DevOps operations centered. The Unicorn project follows up on that, takes place in the same time period, but written later. So they update it a little bit, but it's around the developer part of it. And it's really good. I'm enjoying it.
Is this part of the PHP Architect library?
No,
This is
a-
fiction,
yeah.
not coding.
Well, I bring that up because I think a lot of people don't know that when you subscribe to PHP Architect, there is a like full-on library that comes included with the subscription that has, I mean, just a wealth of knowledge.
All the back issues of PHP Architect magazine. Yes.
Not just that, but there's a library, isn't there?
You talking about the books?
Yeah.
You don't get that with your subscription. That's
There's
separate.
a bunch that are included with the subscription.
Oh, there's not. I run the company. I know what's available. I mean, you can buy them. Yes, you can buy the books.
I don't know. I think you're wrong. Oh, wow. I just pulled up the PHP Architect website.
Yes.
That is
PHPArch.com. What about it?
PHPRoundtable.com. That is some self-service right there. That's the shirt you're currently wearing.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
So there's what we call in the business a hero banner.
Thank you, Honey Badger. What?
No. Thank you, PHP Architect.
There is a hero banner on the front of PHPArch.com featuring our man in gray, John Congdon.
What the hell? Who put that there?
Oh my
Eric was
God.
working hard
I think
on
we
that.
got hacked. Yeah, I worked hard. I
It's all
gave it to our
videos.
design team and said, make something.
Yeah, so we are accepting. We are currently doing call for speakers for PHP Tech 2024. So if you go to tech.phparch.com/speakers, submit your ideas. The more the merrier.
You got written up in the
Use your words.
oh, I'm working on it. The
Okay.
PHP monthly write-up from
PHP annotated.
yes, PHP annotated.
Wow, that was painful.
Uh,
Who got written up?
you guys, PHP Tech plus Call for Papers link in PHP annotated this month.
Oh, cool. We've had a good submission. A nice little tick of submissions coming in.
I did.
JetBrains, that sponsor.
Yeah, I happened to reach out, or I happened to be looking, and I was just curious what kind of keynotes were being put up because I'm curious. And somebody submitted, and I'm reading the proposal. I'm like, this is not a keynote speech. This is just like a normal talk. So I reached out to them. They haven't responded. Like, do you want me to move this so we actually consider it? And if you really want to talk, could you submit at least one or two more? We prefer you to submit 2, 3, 4 topics that you want to speak on.
4, 5, 6. Just
12.
Just give you room. Just keep talking.
But yeah, if you would like to attend PHP Tech with a flight and hotel, all you gotta do is give 1 or 2, maybe 7 talks at the conference.
We actually have a
Eric.
special going on. I don't think we've shared with people.
We have, but we can share it again. If it's what I
you'd
think
like
if it's what I'm thinking of.
Right for
Mhm.
PHP Architect. If you write a feature article for us between now and, I guess, Tech, if you want, you can forego getting paid for that and get a ticket to Tech. Just the ticket to Tech. We're not going to fly you out and put you up in a hotel room, but ticket to the conference. So if you got a feature article in you and you don't feel like being a speaker, now speakers, they get the special treatment, right? They get to go to tech. We typically fly them out. We put them up in the hotel room. They get a really cool little snaggy.
Nope.
They get a cool speaker GIF.
Swag.
So
We're doing that again. Nobody liked the one we gave him last time, so.
Well,
really, I was so proud of those Yeti cups. Nobody liked it, really?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just trolling.
Why do you do that to me?
listen, I told you guys nipple clamps was a bad call.
Adam and Eve, thank you for your sponsorship.
Eric, I want you to follow very closely with me right now.
Okay.
We're going to get to John's week. but
Okay.
Before we do,
Okay.
we need to thank our sponsors.
Uh-huh.
He's
What?
way to go, A Woods.
We here at PHP Ugly are happy to have JetBrains and PHPStorm as a sponsor. The entire team at PHP Ugly uses PHPStorm every day, and we love it. PHPStorm is a cutting-edge IDE tailored for PHP and web developers. Whether you're a newcomer or it's just been a hot minute since your last dive in, there's never been a better time to revisit. With a slick, clean new UI, blazing speed enhancements, and a richer toolkit, it's transforming the way we code. It's time to start coding like a professional. Visit jetbrains.com/PHPStorm and kick off your 30-day free trial. Code smarter, not harder. Let's get back to getting ugly.
Thank you.
Thank you,
PHPStorm.
PHPStorm.
Your eyes are haunting in that video.
My eyes are haunting in every video. AI generated or not. John.
Sir has a point. The piano does seem a little sad in that one.
Well, I mean,
Combined with the lack of emotion in Tom's.
I say, look who's doing the talking there.
John, how was your week?
My week was fucking awesome.
Gee, whoa.
Okay,
That's coming out the gate with the F word.
I was gonna bring that up because one of your tickets in Trello is just fucking awesome. It's just the words fucking awesome for no context, no nothing.
That's the whole point of my tickets. They're meant to jog my memory on things I want to talk about. No, my week was a hot mess because today is Thursday and it's
Shit,
release.
I got a podcast to do.
It's release day, and I happen to just wake up, because I gotta get the kids ready for school. And as soon as I get out and walk into the bathroom, I get a phone call. Hey, can you get on Zoom right now? We're having an issue. Fuck. And it took us 2 to 3 hours this morning to debug everything. One of them was missing binaries in production, and that frustrates me. We're in the process of trying to Dockerize the entire the Dockerize production so that it matches local. And I opened a pull request where I added a binary to our local Docker containers, but forgot to say, hey, ops, can you create a new AMI with this binary all ready to go? So, of course, my PR gets accepted, merged, and blows up in production. And I spent all day getting on all the web servers and manually installing it because the one person that knows how to bake a new AMI was up really late last night and had his phone silenced, going straight to voicemail. So I was like, this is not good.
We're all looking at you.
No, not Kayla. So
It's always Kalen.
So there was that, and then we're getting reports from tier 3 support saying, yeah, this team can't start dialing. Like, it just errors out. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And along the same lines, spent way too long to figure out why this variable was blank in the HTML. when it's been working for years, no problem. My code that got released was we're trying to shut down this legacy API for that's all it is. We hit this server. It's code that's off on an island. Nobody maintains it. It's still running PHP 5. What?
You can say microservice. Like, yeah, we'll get roasted for that, but it's
it's microservice-y, but it's just all it does is it's a gateway to a centralized database. We now have access to it from our main code base, and we're slowly pulling that functionality off the API back into our monolith application. I did that, not realizing that when I was hitting this service, it's using Laravel, and I'm doing a JSON response, which apparently fixes some JSON errors that I didn't know about. So we're sitting here fighting. Why is this not erroring out? Like, it's just giving me a blank string. I put in there JSON throw on error. It's still not erroring out. And it turns out there's UTF-8 characters that could not be JSON encoded. It was bizarre. There's a property to throw into JSON encode that will substitute invalid UTF-8 characters. So that fixed the issue, but it took way too long to figure out.
If you do subscribe to PHP Architect, we have an article coming out next month for Artisan Way, written by fucking Steve, where he starts to I forget what the title of it was, but basically take away some of the magic from Laravel as far as like making it more symphony-ish, where he does things like he returns the type JSON, even though Laravel returns JSON by default, and he does extra verbose things that you really don't need to do in a Laravel app, but it's a great practice. It makes reading the code so much easier. I got to read the article because he had reached out to me and had asked my opinion on it. Really good article. I'm super excited about the article.
Your audio is all messed up for some reason. It just sounds like you're underwater.
It's not good.
Nah, it comes and goes. It'll fix itself in a second. So I don't know if you guys realize, but I don't use a lot of spicy language. I don't say fuck very often. I just don't. I've had people in my life.
You were a dad before you were actually a dad. I'll confirm that.
Yeah, I just don't. I've had people in my life that like every other word was F this and F like it's like just too much. So I tend not to. And I've always told my kids there's no such thing as a bad word. It's as long as you use words in context, I don't care. Like I'm not gonna you said a bad word. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not like that. The other day, Tuesday night, I'm at my kid's soccer practice. At the end of practice,
as the coach.
No, I'm not a coach. I'm just there. I'm just a dad watching his kid practice soccer. As he's walking off the field towards me, practice is over. I walk up to him. I'm like, that was fucking awesome. I immediately heard myself say it. And I'm like, you did so. Like, I just kept praising him and just steamrolled past it. And it was just one of those things where I'm seeing the growth in him as like a player on the team. Like he's running faster than he's ever run before. He's doing more than he's ever done. So I had this moment of pride in him, and that just blurted out. And I told my wife later, and she's like, "Did you address it with him?" I'm like, "No, I just kind of moved on." So that night I asked him, I'm like, "Hey, did you hear what I said to you on the field?" And he goes, "Yeah, you were talking about just how good I did." I'm like, "Yeah, but did you hear the other thing that I said?" And he goes, "Yeah, Dad, but it's okay because you used it in a positive context."
Oh my god. Your kids are going to get beat up in school so bad.
Yeah, so So yeah, so it was just funny.
Your kid's gonna go to high school and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, did you just leave homeschool?" And he's like, "No, no, why?"
Nah.
I do have some exciting stuff I forgot to mention. We got a roundtable form.
No way. What?
Yeah, very much so. A lot of it
Sarah, is this real?
a lot of it is because of our Discord. People in our Discord. There was
I mean,
a
Sarah.
couple of developer relations people. You know, we're going to do a roundtable or do a panel of developer relations, developer advocate, which sounds weird. It's like you know they're having this like I don't know what that means, but whatever the titles are, there's like 1,000 different ways, huh?
What that means. You meet developers, we need advocates.
Yeah.
It's the whole joke about being a people person on Office Space.
What?
We need
Anyways, I got a couple of people locked in. I mean, everybody's locked in. All we have to do now is settle on a date and time to make sure everybody can show up. But just a few spoilers. Uncle Cal Evans is going to be on, so real excited about that.
It's a big deal.
A couple people in our Discord, including fucking Steve, is going to be on, and yeah, and Sarah has confirmed that she's willing to be on.
I thought that Sarah meant that you were talking about doing it in July of 2024.
Yeah, no, that's about right. Yeah, I think I should be able to get everything squared away by then. But Danger is going to be on, so it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Bring him back to the original PHP architect, huh?
I guess so. Maybe that's what we're doing. Maybe that's what we should do. We should do a round table of all the PHP architect people.
No. No.
I don't want to hear how bad we're doing, so don't do that.
Oscar is don't give a shit.
What makes you think I'd invite you, John?
I hate to bring it up again, but the Primogen, have you reached out? Have you reached out to the Primogen?
Why would I have reached out to the Primogen?
I cannot get enough of his videos about code that I do not understand. It's all way over my head, but he's so good.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've been watching him for a year or so. I don't know. Are you trying to queue up for something? Do we have a sponsor ad? You want to do a sponsor ad?
Well,
I can't tell. I can't tell when you're segueing or when you're trailing off. They're kind of they sound the same to me.
I wasn't trying to queue up for something, but he did an interview with the developer of v0.dev, which stands for version 0, which is a UI generated with like an AI UI generated with prompts. And like, yeah, I never want to do CSS ever again. I never want to do JS. I never want to do HTML. And this is a total solution for that, where you give it a prompt and then you can edit the prompt as it displays it to you in line. Like, it exports to a bunch of different languages, a bunch of different things that I feel like design is kind of dying because of AI.
I was thinking the same thing, sir.
I don't. I'm not sure I follow that, but
I missed what Sarah said.
Did you just mansplain that V0 means version 0 to a room full of nerds? Yes, you did. I was thinking the same exact thing when you said it.
For those of you who don't know, mansplaining is when I'm glad somebody got that. It's a difficult joke. It's a difficult joke to understand.
not everybody's
Obviously,
going to get it.
Not everyone's going to get it.
You have to be a higher tier evolved person. So basically, I mean, I don't get that one.
But this is the first time I've seen AI actually start to
hell's wrong with you
threaten
two?
jobs.
What, Tom?
This is the
We're
first
talking
time
about-
I've seen AI actually start to threaten jobs, where I was like, oh, in a small environment, this could totally replace the need for a designer.
I've
You-
never seen that. I'll
Well-
have to check this site out.
You should, because like you give it the most basic prompt, which is a contact form or a payment field with 3 payment levels, basic, pro, and enterprise, or
But
a
that's
toolbar.
that's simple stuff, right? I mean,
It's
will it
simple,
do
it's
like
simple stuff, but it does
Don't let me
so
finish.
much of the
Just-
work.
talk over me? That's good.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go to any template site and have those things accessible to you. I don't. Maybe I'm
So,
missing something here.
The key to this is that
I literally
you
almost
can-
ended the stream.
you can click on a component and say, this part of what you generated is wrong. I don't want full name in a field. I want 2 fields, one for first name, one for last name.
You are
But
impressed by the
I-
weirdest things.
You sound so impressed by it. The first thing I pull up is a chessboard with Unicode characters, and the chessboard is just garbage. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that
this is awesome.
That is garbage.
This is awesome. You
But that's
I don't.
that's the
I can
worst
never
prompt.
tell what you're going to like. Just sink your teeth in. And what concerns me is we'll try to back away and say it's not that good, and that's when things go off the rail.
Well, the Primogens video on this was with the developer. It went into a lot more detail. It had a lot of interesting components.
So
I just
he was
I
interviewing
hate
the developer?
HTML. Yeah, I hate HTML and CSS so much that this just instantly made my life better. And I tried to sign up for it, and they're like, "Yeah, you're on the waiting list." Like, whoa, I'm pretty important though.
I don't know what to tell you, Tom.
Like,
I'm underwater. I'm too close to my mic. What do you want from me tonight, Tom? Should I just walk away? Oh, was that a private message? Did you not want me to say anything? I'm sorry. Hey, Tom, I did do something this week I think you would enjoy. I
you should have
told
brought
you
that up when it was your turn to talk about what you did this week.
a few weeks. Well, I'm the host, so I can
Oh, that's true.
interject whenever I want. It's one of the things. I got the flipper. I've really have gotten into my flipper. This
I
thing
have that so much.
this thing is so much fun. I've gotten into like figuring out what frequency things transmit on, and then imitating that. This has been this is basically it's right now. I'm basically using it as a glorified universal remote for like everything I own. I need to get to some like doors I can click into or something. That's what I want to do. But this flipper, I'm so tempted to buy another one just because the videos I watch, they kind of trigger you. They're like, oh yeah, they're not going to keep selling these. You already can't buy them on Amazon, and they've already taken them out of stores. I'm like, yeah, I should buy another one before you can't buy them anymore.
Well, send it to my house in case they raid your house and take the one you have, and then I've got backup. Eric's talking about the Flip Zero, which is a software-defined radio with a scripting language built into it that lets you do a lot of
Anything. That's I like these. Can I get that in? These holes at the top. These are just general purpose I/O holes that you can like connect and do readings. Oh man, it is so much fun.
Yeah, it's.
I need to get into the scripting part. So I spent a good amount of time doing basically rubber duck. Right? It has an app called Bad USB.
I want one so bad.
Huh?
I want one so bad. You don't understand.
Oh, you would love this thing. This is right up your alley, Tom.
Please give me one.
Why not just buy one?
Yeah.
I have 3 kids.
Maybe this will be the speaker.
How about
Maybe this
don't
will be
buy
the
a video
speaker
game
gift
one
next
month?
year. Maybe not buy a vape cartridge a month. It's
games.
about the same price as a vape cartridge.
It's $160,
Yeah.
but that is
But-
significantly cheaper than our next story. No, significantly more expensive than our next story. I know you guys have been watching this. I know Eric is trying to find the Trello card I'm talking about, trying to like scrolling through it. Which one's Tom going to?
No, I was hovering over Honey Badger, which we got to get to at some point. Go ahead.
You know what should report to Honey Badger? The Raspberry Pi 5.
Oh, you've piqued my interest.
Well, let's talk about it after
the break.
There you go. Thanks to our friends at honeybadger.io for sponsoring this podcast. Monitoring, like web development, can be complicated. There are tons of tools and techniques, but you just want to know that your app is up and that your customers are happy. When your customers encounter a problem, you need clear, actionable intelligence, not walls of charts and reams of logs to tail. That's why they built Honeybadger, the monitoring tool we always wanted. A tool that's there when you need it and gets out of your way when you don't, so that you can keep shipping code, know when critical errors occur, and which customers are affected. Respond instantly when your systems go down. Improve the health of your systems over time and fix problems before your customers can report them. Honeybadger is the application health monitoring tool built for you, the developer who cares about a quality product and happy customers. Be the hero of your team and sign up for a free trial and start monitoring today at honeybadger.io. Setup takes as little as 5 minutes. See what you've been missing and fix it. Once again, that's www.honeybadger.io.
Thank you, Honey Badger.
Thank you, Honeybadger.
I really need to fix your video, John.
My video?
Yeah, the music. The music is so loud.
No, I didn't think it was that bad.
Well, you'd be wrong. It was horrible.
Yeah, I should also fix the wording so I can say the word code correctly. Code.
That's why I rely entirely on AI generated ads.
Well, I think I was doing it late one night and I was trying to keep quiet. So I was very confused there for a second. Yeah, I was just trying to be quiet as I was recording.
So, big announcement yesterday. The Raspberry Pi 5. Available in 2 flavors, 4 gigabyte and 8 gigabyte. This comes up because this is the kind of thing that we just tinker with. We love these things. And this is the next generation.
I don't tinker, man. I have one running all the time. I have a couple running all the time, actually.
All right.
They're very important parts of my infrastructure.
We utilize them.
I even printed myself up a little rack. It's a little server rack.
Well, so interesting thing about the Pi 5 is that it has a separate I/O interface, PCIe Express interface. So you're looking at actually being able to connect PCI devices such as SATA, external GPUs, things like that. This is also the first Raspberry Pi that uses custom silicon. So the chip is designed, built, and operated by the Raspberry Pi company, Adafruit. It's a touch expensive.
Wait a minute, they built it?
So this is the first chip that's actually designed and built by Adafruit.
Oh. You know, Adafruit, the owner, was one of the Cult of the Dead Cows.
Nope.
She was part of that. Yeah.
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 I didn't know that.
There's a book I read on Cult of the Dead Cow.
Me too, man.
About a year ago. That was really good.
Adafruit, not Adafruit.
Attaboy.
Wow. You should make a GIF about it.
I'm curious about the display. Like, I see it's HDMI. Is
So
it
it's
through?
there. It's a little confusing from looking at the board itself,
Hmm.
but there are actually two pipelines for display or camera. So camera input was so popular, they decided that they're going to double up on it. 4K at 60 FPS, in or out on the display ports. The HDMI itself is the same 4K at 60 FPS out, supporting both screens simultaneously. Now, this is an important thing, is that this is separated from the USB input output. The USB I/O used to be tied to a bunch of other things operating on the same chip. So if you were doing a lot of internet traffic, the USB would slow down. It was all on the same pipe. That's no longer true. But the big change here is that the Raspberry Pi 5 runs at 2.4 gigahertz and is as much as 3 times faster than the Raspberry Pi 4, which is an astonishing accomplishment
It's
for
the
$60
it's the
board.
PC thing all over again. I don't get too blown away with it because I don't use my Pi for anything where I'm like, oh my god, I need a faster Pi. I am curious though.
Well, but that was always
What,
because you couldn't.
Tom? Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What are the I'm not seeing enough. Like the connections I'm seeing aren't making sense.
Sure.
I'm sure the top two on the right hand side are USBs.
So
Probably.
zoom in just a touch there. You'll notice that on the north side, it's white. That's USB 2.0. That's a double stacked USB 2.0.
Okay.
The middle
Blue.
is blue. That's a USB double stacked 3.0.
Right. So that's why I said I can see that these two are USBs. I'm not sure what this last one is.
Ethernet.
Okay, that's
So-
Ethernet. All right.
so-
So hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish talking.
Mhm.
So that's Ethernet. Okay. So we've accounted for all that. We have two USB-C things here,
Nope.
right? Okay.
Micro HDMI output.
Okay, I see a little bit of that level there.
So
Yeah,
micro
I see that.
HDMI looks a lot like the USB B plug, but it is in fact a unique protocol that Raspberry Pi has relied on for a long time.
Okay, so what's the other one?
Both
Are
of
they
those.
both? Okay.
So now in the
What's-
previous
What's this?
iterations,
What's the last one? What's the last one?
that's USB-C power.
Okay, so that's the power. So there's no there. See, this is the thing that irritates me. There's no other USB-C. Like so many things can plug in with USB-C now, and the only USB-C they have on the board is the one for power. That's what they have currently today, and it's frustrating.
So
I want them to fix it.
I would venture a guess is that that's to avoid confusion, because the USB-C protocol standard actually defines cables as either power or data. So if you were to go out and buy the cheapest USB cable you could get, USB-C cable you could get, it will not carry data. It will just carry power. And the intention of not having USB-C elsewhere on the board, again, my guess is to not confuse things. You don't want to plug a USB data cable into something that can only do power and sit there for hours trying to troubleshoot things.
Gotcha.
So you were starting this with Honey Badger. How is this relating to Honey Badger? Was there a problem?
Why, John?
I thought there was a story here.
Okay, if you didn't know, PHP Architect has a thriving YouTube channel. Well, thriving, it might be a little overstatement, but a good YouTube channel. And Scott Keck Warren has been contributing videos on a regular click now for a year, a year and a half, couple of years, I feel like. He has one out because you know what's coming up? Hacktoberfest.
I'm so upset about this
Why?
because I did not see it. I pulled up the board today to get ready for the podcast, and you had things that I had not seen, and that upset me.
I'm sorry.
I should have been prepared. I wasn't prepared.
So Hacktoberfest is coming. If you have not participated in Hacktoberfest over on the PHP Architect blog, there is a post from Scott in a video explaining how to get involved with Hacktoberfest. It's pretty simple. Not specifically Hacktoberfest related, but kind of related. Is if you're somebody who just wants to get involved with open source. So if you're not aware what Hacktoberfest is, I guess I should explain it. I think we're all developers, and I take for granted we all know what it is, but you never know when somebody new might be listening and are not aware of it. Hacktoberfest is the time of year, and I think it started a couple days ago, but let's just say October, where all through October, developers are encouraged to contribute to some open source projects. The rules have changed over the years. Now they're very specific about the projects you can contribute to. You have to actually, I think you have to kind of try to get on, like get accepted as an actual project, but they're still all open source projects, and it's just meant to kind of foster just open source, making open source stronger. So you can go to Hacktoberfest, you can see that the projects that qualify to be part of Hacktoberfest, and what you get as a developer is, if I don't know the rules this year, but if a certain amount of PRs, I think there's only one. If one PR gets accepted and merged that you contribute, you get swag from DigitalOcean. It's not a lot. I mean, they're not giving you money. There's nothing, but it's just a nice thing, right? And especially the first year, it was like this thing of everybody who got the T-shirt, and so I definitely encourage you to give it a look if you want to contribute. But if you're not a regular contributor open source and you've always wanted to contribute to open source, there is a website out there that's posted now to the Discord channel. It'll be in the show notes as well, called Code Triage. And Code Triage is essentially it's Hacktoberfest without the Hacktober part of it, where they just it's a kind of an open directory of open source projects that are looking for help. I apologize. No, they're not looking for help. It's a directory of open source projects that where they look for certain tags and stuff and allow you to filter. Hey, I only want PHP projects. I only want easy things I can contribute to, or first first commit sort of stuff. It's a really good site. I always forget about it, and I just haven't had any free time, but I encourage everybody who's a developer to try to take some time, and if you don't contribute to open source project, give it a shot. It's very satisfying.
Yeah, I think
if you're
I won't say
if you're not if you don't feel that you're a strong developer, but you have skills as a second language, one of the biggest things that you can contribute to Hacktoberfest is documentation or translation in languages other than English.
Or sometimes in English. I've seen some
yeah.
of those documentation out there.
It's a huge category, so if you're bilingual or multilingual, check it out just to contribute to documentation or translation services. It's a huge help.
Cool.
All I was going to say is I think we've talked to open source maintainers in the past, Ben being one of them, where it's a lot of work on the maintainers to even participate in Hacktoberfest. So
Yeah.
while it's a good thing, it's also a pain in the butt for them.
I know what I'm doing for Hacktoberfest.
Drinking beer.
No, actually, there's a service I love and use a lot called Nginx Reverse Proxy Manager.
Oh gosh, we're doing this again.
Nope.
Are they sponsor of the show?
No, it's a non-reactive web interface, and I'm gonna make it reactive. I'm gonna try and learn some CSS.
Gotcha. Have you looked at any of the RFCs lately?
Oh my goodness, yes.
This one is actually not new. It was posted December of last year. Just happened to come up in conversation with another developer today. Property hooks, introduced by a couple developers, one being Larry Garfield that we've talked about before. And the whole point of them is trying to ease up on getters and setters to a point. There's a lot of boilerplate code that goes into getters and setters if you add them to all of your properties in a class. I'm actually having an issue right now with moving to PHP 8.2 because of dynamic properties on an object.
Because it's not supported anymore.
It throws warnings, and we're trying really hard to mitigate as many warnings as we can because it slows down an application. And I brought up, I'm like, well, what about just adding the magic get and set on the parent object, especially for this old library that we're using, just to eliminate those warnings. Just use the magic method set to add to an array and use the magic method get to pull from the array, and you're done. So we're probably going to go down that road. But the person I was talking to pointed out this RFC, and I started looking at it, and it's interesting, but it's also ugly. Like,
it is magic.
It's so if you scroll down, Eric, down to the down a little bit further. So up top is showing how we've done it in the past, showing getters and setters, but there's the new syntax there. When you define a public variable such as name as a string, you can add this hook in here to say, hey, when you set this variable, here's the business logic. You know,
I have not seen this RFC before, but what a minefield.
It is definitely interesting.
It is fascinating.
What are your concerns there, Tom?
Well, so my first concern is that the way that the PHP tokenizer works would fundamentally have to change. When you say public array and then $ elements, you're adding a step to the tokenizer that is going to slow things down. The tokenizer right now expects a name, and you're going to have to say, if you see a $, then expect a method call or a closure. But then it's magic on top of that. You're basically saying any object can be just defined as its as its properties.
Yeah. I don't know.
I see so many bad use cases.
It'll be interesting to see if it takes off.
I'm curious, since we do have a couple people from internals in our Discord, being Ben and Sarah, if you're still around, Sarah, if either one of them or if either one of you two have seen the chatter on Twitter asking the question, why do we still use the $sign in PHP, and can we get rid of it?
See, I like it personally,
Me
but
too.
It makes
I
things
like-
readable.
Go ahead, John.
no, I'm the same way. It makes it more readable. It makes variables to me stand out. I've been using, the $sign since back in the MS-DOS basic days. It's just what I know as a variable, and I know it's
Yeah.
not necessary. You can do in JavaScript. You don't need it, but you can use it.
This is one of those things I would call an affectation of the language, where
I'm
it's
going to go ahead and put up our Patreon supporters while we have this conversation. Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. We don't give you guys enough recognition, I feel, and you're all wonderful people. If any of you contribute an article to PHP Architect, I'll get you a ticket to PHP Tech. Just any of you.
Such a nice guy.
I am. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I don't understand what the benefit of removing it would be to look more like other code, like Python, or I don't know. I think I think maybe it's nostalgia for me. I don't know if I have that strong of an opinion. I just don't know how it would work without it. I like having it. I don't see why we would why do it. I mean, I don't understand where that's coming from.
I think back in I could be way wrong on this. I could be speaking crazy talk right now, but I think way back, if you didn't have quotes around something, it just became a string. So you wouldn't be able to differentiate it from a variable. I mean, you'd have to have the $sign and then have the string after it. Now we have quotes and it doesn't work without it. So
Yeah. Cool. So we're all kind of on the same page. None of us want to see it go away, right, Tom?
Sarah is not on the same page.
What's Sarah say?
Sarah is saying constants and variables are distinct symbol tables, and the $sign is what distinguishes them. So the very idea of processing a class expects a missing $sign for a table lookup on a constant.
mm-hmm.
So fundamentally, the whole engine relies on the $sign to define which lookup table to use for values. Like it would become.
We're all saying it would. We want to keep it, right? I mean,
Well, I'm saying Sarah has like a legitimate PHP internals reason it could not change.
It's one of those, it could change. Everything is possible. It's just a matter of, it would be a huge backwards breaking change especially if you have a constant and the same variable name.
okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. X-hoing a constant.
Or a string.
Sarah's getting into C language or C++ language that
That's
I don't
kind
understand.
of C is kind of her thing, right?
Yeah, so that's way outside my wheelhouse. Just John, never bring it up again.
I'll try not to.
We have some PHP news, not a whole lot, but some.
Prove it.
Are you interested?
Are you going to talk about CakePHP live streaming their conference for free on YouTube? Is that what you're going to talk about?
I was going to tease it as if we were talking about TronGate, but yes, CakePHP. CakePHP has released 5.0.0.
Oh, really? They're releasing?
Yeah.
The person I went to lunch with a couple weeks ago was very excited about it. He was a huge Cake developer.
And I love seeing mobility in this space. It's kind of upsetting that their website is down right now. Oh, there it goes.
Just takes a while. Oh, thank you again for our supporters on Patreon. Bye.
Yes, thank you so much. Minimum requirement PHP 8.1, improved type hints, enum types, upgraded to PHP Unit 10, and another batch of stuff like support for PSR 17 factories, big list of contributors. I'm just reading a webpage at this point, but yeah, huge props to CakePHP. I think Laravel needs some competition.
It's not a competition, Tom. It's just a preference thing. But yeah, I can't believe that it's here in Los Angeles, and I didn't feel like I need to go crash this thing. The Cake Fest, that is. They're here in Los Angeles.
Oh, the Cake Fest.
Yeah, the Cake PHP conference.
They couldn't come up with something better than that, like the Tea Party. Cake is all about
Tea
goofy...
Party's already taken.
Yeah,
we don't
I
like.
know. I know. Cake is all about goofy names, like the bakery.cakephp.org is where they announced the 5.0 release.
Well, their artist in command is Bake. I used to love that. You bake up your crud.
Ben, I'm not asking your opinion. I'm just telling you it could be better.
So it's right there. It's right there at the airport too. Man, I need to. I should go crash this thing. I really should. I'm sure they want to see me.
They were asking about you. Remember?
Yeah, thank God.
Sounds right.
He's not here. We also have an interesting update from Derek Rathens. Derek is the developer of Xdebug, and it's been kind of slow in that department. A lot of work developing Xdebug for 8.2 and stuff like that, but there's kind of a big update in this version of Xdebug. It has a backwards cache now, so that things that were dropped because of an exception being thrown from PHP are cached and remembered by Xdebug. So when you throw an exception, it drops a bunch of what it considers garbage and only reports the exception information to PHP and to the debugger. Now the new version of Xdebug goes back for a chained 8 thrown cached exceptions. So if you throw an exception, you can do that 8 times before Xdebug forgets what the contents of the previous stack were. So that's a big improvement for debugging libraries that are developed on top of PHP, stuff like that. And I'm super excited about that. Xdebug is also fully funded.
I'm also
For the time.
I'm still reading about Cake. The latest is Cake, requiring 8.1 now. Wow.
Eric loves Cake.
I do love Cake. Takes me back.
We started before we got onto the Laravel bus. We started with Cake.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was my big talk. That was the first talk I ever gave, was making a blog in 15 minutes. Yep, with CakePHP.
Yeah.
I think it's the first one I tried, but I had a massive homegrown monolith application and couldn't really put a framework around it, so I never did. Like, I spun it up just to play with it a little bit, but never actually used it.
It was.
What about
Right.
what's in our
So-
Discord?
Right, with the titles. I missed him last week, and he comes back with pound cake.
He's got it right.
I mean, it's just
Everybody can stop suggesting titles at this
it's-
point. I
it's
think
just what he does. It's so upsetting.
he's like Jordan, he just steps on the court, does his thing, and just walks off.
I threw a fit, let's call it 6 years ago, about the loss of net neutrality.
Has it been that long?
And
Oh, wow.
It has really been that long. And net neutrality is in a weird state because in England or the UK or whatever the
Talking
proper
about
term,
Kentucky again?
the proper term for the United Kingdom, they're going the opposite direction. So there's a new law that's being proposed that states that websites are wholly responsible for the content that they post and are required to actively moderate all content coming in, not necessarily by people, but by AI, bots, stuff like that. And anything that is questionable or objectionable gets removed automatically. The United States is moving in the opposite direction, bringing back net neutrality. Net neutrality has to do with Title II of the FCC's rules for internet hosting, which is you as a host are not responsible for the content posted by the people on the website. But you do have to still comply with any official order to remove content. This is a huge win for internet freedom, but the current spokesperson for internet freedom is Elon Musk. So it's kind of weird in my book. I feel very uncomfortable with it. I don't know. How do you guys feel? You're quiet to the point of making me feel awkward.
That's our job. We talked about PHP Architect earlier. I don't know if you were paying attention.
Oh, Dog was
talking about
barking,
PHP
had to go
Architect.
outside.
Talking about PHP Tech as well. If you follow me on the social medias, you will know that if you head over to the PHP Architect YouTube channel, we have released our keynote talks on there. So the keynote talks have been deployed to, I'll add it to the show notes. Show notes coming in hot on the show notes. Wow, lots of show notes today. So yeah, all three of the keynotes are there. Yeah, there's a new feature on Restream I wanted to take advantage of. I learned a few things. I kind of wanted to redo it, but I had already streamed this, so it is what it is. But if this is no PHP Tech TV where you have to pay for anything to see it. This is just on YouTube for everybody to enjoy. Check it out, and if you're interested in attending Tech in 2024, there's some QR codes there for you to click on.
Looking at the posted sessions and for our call for speakers, and you told me earlier that somebody was hoping to be selected. Please don't do this, everyone. 4 submissions is good. They submitted 12 talks.
Well, I didn't see that coming. That's the other extreme, huh?
That's a little extreme. Yeah. Like, if I dominate the list, I will be selected.
I mean, it's kind of like the raffle. You know, you buy enough tickets, you're bound to win one of them.
I'm increasing my odds.
Feel,
we
I feel
we
a
would
little
love
called
we would love some advanced talks on any topic.
Yeah, we're trying to make a push. I had this conversation with one of the
Good idea,
speakers
Sarah.
today. It's weird because one of the feedbacks we got from last year was could really use some more advanced talks. And I get where that's coming from. If you go to enough conferences, you feel like you're seeing the same like intro sort of talks everywhere you go. So I get it. And I think it's valid. I think we do need to have more advanced talks. But the other side of that coin is you don't hear the other people complaining, because the other side of that coin is they'll come to you and say the talks were, you know, so over my head. They were too advanced for me. I feel like I wasted my time coming here. And to those people, I just want to say, John points this out all the time. These little nuggets of information you get at a conference, topics that you don't think you understand, but you heard something mentioned there, you would be amazed how often that comes back and it benefits you. Where, okay, you didn't understand the topic, but you remember at the conference somebody talking about it, and it kind of gets you down that path for research. So I don't want to scare people off by saying we're looking for more advanced talks. I scare any attendees off because we're looking for more advanced talks. Everybody benefits from it, and they won't all be advanced. It'll be this. We'll have other talks without that. We're just asking for more advanced talks because I think there's a hunger for it in the community.
The most fulfilled I felt at Tech was the talk where I got halfway through it and I'm like, now it's out of my league, but I've had an actual experience listening to this.
Right. Well, it's not only the experience. You now know somebody who is connected to that topic. So if the topic ever does come up to you again, you can you can say, "Hey, I remember such and such gave a talk on this. Maybe I can reach out to them." Because that's one of the things. Speakers are always very open to people reaching out.
What is
to them.
actually, now that you bring it up, what is Sarah Goldman's Twitter handle? Shit, I keep forgetting. Right, it's called X now.
That's Awood's in our Discord, and again, that's I think we've only said it a couple times. Discord.phpugly.com. Oh, you've woken the Kraken, Awoods. Look, nobody has said anything. So NorCal Kid and SoCal Kid are together in hot, sunny Northern California, and they're doing.
You're confusing me now.
Yeah, so they're doing things together. It's a whole thing. I hope they're having a great time. I have to do thumbnails tonight. So, but I think Awa's just made it easy. Pound cake, baby. Just a big old cake, and maybe Tom eating it. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. But yeah, they're the siblings. They're having a siblings. Well, they're not having siblings and partners and friends and partner friends and whatever everybody's called these days. They're up there having a really good time. They're going to up in San Francisco. Up in San Francisco, they I guess NorCal Kid was telling me about the fact that there's a museum there that has adult only nights where you have to be over 21 to go. There's alcohol served, and It sounds like a blast. They've done it a couple times. I think that's one of the things they're doing. I think that
They're
might be what they're
solving
doing.
a mystery
Oh.
at the museum.
So they're at the museum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're up there having a good old time.
Where's the current wife? Is she with them?
Current wife is working. No, current wife is working. Current wife is talking about taking a trip up there, as what I think in next couple of weeks, possibly. Yeah. So
I
yeah,
will.
Did you guys just dox yourself? Anyway, go ahead.
I will be in your guys' area from the 12th to the 16th next month.
in Southern California?
Wasn't going to dox myself, but
How is Southern? That's a region of the country. That's not doxing yourself.
well, as we've already stated, it's a
saying
much more
I'm not going to be
narrow region of
home
the
next
country
month,
than
the
I thought
12th
it
and the
was.
13th would be probably doxing yourself for any burglars who want to introduce themselves to your dog.
So anywhere from here to Camp Pendleton is Southern California.
That's not correct.
No.
Yes, I guess technically it is correct, but that's not where Southern California ends.
Where does it end? There's no sign. There's no sign saying
You're
we
leaving
live in
Southern
California.
Where
Population 10
where would you
million.
where would you consider Los Angeles, or is that south of San Diego? I'm just asking for a friend.
Look, I'm not a map.
Oh, you kill me. Oh. Yes, you're right, Tom. I do not think there are signs letting you know when you're entering and leaving the different regions of
Well,
California.
that explains my confusion then, doesn't it?
Not really, but I'm trying to help you out. Oh, that's why we love you, Tom. All right, we are running along. I have
Just a wee
to
bit.
edit this, and I have to do thumbnails, and blah, 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 blah. So that's it. We're going to wrap it up for episode. What episode are we on? 3? What is this? 354?
54. Yep. 354. I'm John. Keep it ugly.
Did you even say anything?
No, he didn't. That's why I moved on. Keep it ugly.
Tom.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
Wow, we're real professional. Real professional.
1, 2,
Real
1,
professional.
2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet. Unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having.
Thank you, Harry. Sarah, are you talking about the Apple product M1? Just curious. Maybe I'm assuming that's
They're
what you're
talking
referring
about. They're
to.
talking about roads.
Oh, gotcha.
Hey, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so you're still in the you're still rocking the trash can, right? Sarah's the only other person I know that still rocks the trash can Mac. John and I still use our. John, you still use yours, right?
Um,
Didn't yours overheat like crazy?
no,
Okay.
no.
You,
I mean, it's sitting right here. It's not on right now.
mine's out with the 3D printer. It's actually it's I got my little setup out there. I'm getting everything so I can start doing 3D printing again. Kind of let that sit to the side for too long.
Did you see the new Bamboo?
Yeah, I think I have. But I really like the
Super cheap 4-color.
yeah.
Sexy as shit.
Yep, I did. The Snapmaker is such a solid machine. They're supposed to be coming out with my only gripe is how long it takes you to swap things out, and they're coming out with the quick switch thing. I forget what it's called. The quick modules that you can just snap in and out. I might have to buy them.
I think
cool.
you can print. I think you can print those already.
Yeah, I looked at that. I thought about doing it. You can. There are some out there. I don't know.
No, so you have to modify the Marlin firmware for those things, and you don't want to do that. If you think leveling your bed is hard, modifying your firmware for tool exchange is way worse.
I don't think so. I mean, you already change it out. This just makes it faster.
No, but you're changing position of the head. I think is what he's talking about.
Oh, with the 3D printed one?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was talking about the not 3D printed one. I so badly want to buy the tumbler for the laser, but it's so stinking expensive.
It is.
And it's come down. I think it's down to it's down to $400.
You can put it's almost like a lathe. You put your whatever you're printing on in it, and it turns as you're printing.
Oh,
so you can print on curved surfaces.
John's old printer.
No, he has PHP Architect's printer.
Yeah, it's the company's printer. Yeah. So I have.
Just in case the audience is watching.
Yeah, I don't know if did I share this with you, John? Yeah, I'm putting it in Slack. I'll put it in Discord. Here, it's in Discord. This is what I'm waiting to come out. In typical fashion, they've been teasing this for like a year and a half now. But this looks so slick.
So this is the thing about Bamboo is that
the Bamboo looks really cool.
The Bamboo stuff is like everyone thought Bamboo was going to come out with a more expensive, more complicated printer, and what they did was so the opposite. Was a super cheap printer, and their 4-color like changer, the 4-color like the 4-disc system. They built it off of transmission, like manual transmission system.
You're talking about the Mini? Are you talking about the Mini?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the new 4-color system uses these spring tension systems with a single motor instead of 4 motors, and it's brilliant. I
like Bamboo. I'm not going to buy one, but I like how I like their products. They look nice. The thing I like about the Snapmaker is you have such a huge surface to print things. Is the Snapmaker is just really big.
Yeah, like the Bamboo, they very intentionally made it really small.
A small footprint, yeah.
Like because it was so cheap. They could have made it much bigger for a $20 difference.
Well,
but that would start biting into their market for their larger printer.
And honestly, I mean, you print small things all the time. I mean, you're just constantly printing small things. So it's not like this. You're not sacrificing a lot unless you're getting really into 3D printing and have ideas of large scale things you want to print, you're not really sacrificing a lot if 3D printing is what you want to do. Again, with the Snapmaker, we have the laser and the not
What it-
etcher.
So
That's what's it called? The drill bit,
Yeah, it's the
Dremel.
CNC.
Dremel. Yeah,
CNC machine.
yeah. So you get so much with it. That Snapmaker is just such a great product. So much to do with it. But if I were to get like just a 3D printer to print like small things real quick, it would probably be a Bamboo.
so my buddy
Price is reasonable.
works for a company that does credit card processing. They make the devices that you see at restaurants and retail stores, where like you like tap the card, put the card in, or slide the card.
Mm.
And so
I
have
shared a conspiracy with the current wife on this week. Actually, I noticed at my
Eric.
coffee shop.
Eric. I was in the middle of a story.
I was trying to cut you off. Go ahead.
So they have a ton of 3D printers because they have to measure these. They have to QA these tap effects, insert effects, and swipe effects. And so they have like 20 Prusa printers that are always running, making parts for robots that just tap a card, tap a card, tap a card. Like that's the whole thing they do. Eric, go on.
What? I'm doing show notes. What? Yeah, that's a fantastic story, Tom. Thanks. What are we talking about?
Would you share with your current wife? Conspiracy theory.
Yeah, so the coffee shop we go to, you do the whole tap to pay thing. It's a person standing there. When you go through the drive-thru, I do like it. It's Better Buzz Coffee Shop, which is a San Diego coffee shop. But they stand there and you tap, and you have to pick if you want to leave them a tip. And it's like
Nice,
whatever,
Sarah.
15, 20%, and 25%. So there are 3 buttons that you pick. I notice that the side the 15% is on will randomly change. Like it's not always in the same location.
That is not a conspiracy theory. That is 100% true.
Right? It is. So it is something they're actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that way for so long, and then the last couple of weeks I've been paying very close attention to it, and I felt like I had confirmed it this week.
That's absolutely true. The reason for it is very depressing.
What's the reason for it?
Because if employees get higher tips, then they don't demand higher wages. It's an anti-unionization technique that Starbucks invented to artificially increase the wages of the employees.
What else we talk about today?
Good morning, Mike.
Mike,
Can you put me out of my misery in this game? We're
Mike.
close.
Kill John.
I forgot to talk about that. Mike and I jumped on a call last week and recorded it. I released it on the PHP Ugly website. I finally did the whole PHPStorm
I saw that.
Vim bindings. Yeah.
Didn't watch it. Don't care about Vim. But I saw that you put a non-PHP Ugly video on the PHP Ugly webpage. And I was
Non-PHP Ugly, but yeah.
I was personally motivated to like do something. But then work happened. I don't
I'll throw that in the show notes for anybody who missed it. If you're listening to the audio podcasts, where is it? Actually, I don't see it. Oh, there it is, right there. I got it.
I've been doing security camera stuff, and I feel like an idiot for not consulting John on this.
You don't want to consult me on it.
Well, I mean, you've had more security cameras than anyone I know.
Yeah, they were all the cheap ones because they were temporary.
Well, yeah, you've got 30 temporary vent cams.
We don't need
So-
to tell anybody about this.
There's a protocol, NVIF, that like just means that it's an IP camera. You can connect to it and get stuff from it and tell it what to do. And I was looking for solar NVIF cameras, but the trick to NVIF is that it's always on. It's always recording, or like always sending out a recording. And solar can't like
Keep up,
sustain
yeah.
that. So all the solar cameras are motion based.
Just run electricity out to wherever you have the camera. It's not that hard.
Oh, just do that.
Yeah.
Just run electricity. Just run 12.
It's not that hard. I put it out above my garage outside.
Which is why I was just saying I should have asked you, but you're like, you shouldn't ask me. I don't know what I'm doing.
Actually, one of them was for my camera that's out front. Because I got sick of changing the battery. So I'm like, I'll just run.
Shameful behavior.
So just run a cable out there.
Well, yeah, I figured out how to do that now. I had to measure my garage door has a curve, and I get the wire behind it, and I just why do we have to keep doing electricity? I'm so bored of it.
Alrighty. Guess where I'm going tomorrow night? I don't.
You did not give me time to guess.
I'm not telling you yet. You can guess while I tell my story because I haven't spoiled it yet. I don't do Instagram really. Like I have an Instagram account because I have a Facebook account, and I guess when I post a reel, it's really an Instagram video of some sort. And over time, I've followed a handful of people, not a lot. But I go into the kitchen last night. Yeah, I think last night. And I get this notification that somebody went live on Instagram. And I looked at it, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I went to put my phone in my pocket. And then, like, wait a second. Let me just see what they're saying. So I click in. And one of the first things he says is, come see me in San Diego. I'm like, you're going to be in San Diego? So I'm going to see somebody tomorrow night. You wanted to guess. Are you going to guess or not?
No,
or do I just say it?
I'm processing.
It's a comedian.
It's not Jeff Arcuri.
No, it's Preacher Lawson. Going to see Preacher Lawson tomorrow night. He's funny.
Do you
He was
have
on- He was on
comedian.
He's on AGT. He was on AGT.
Oh,
I don't know what that is. What is he?
America's Got Talent.
Oh, Jesus.
No, he's funny. Why would you ask if he was a vegan comedian?
What? Who said that? Tom?
Tom asked if he was.
Dumbass.
Like,
I
I'm
don't
curious.
know. I would love
Yeah.
to. I would love to hear a good vegan comedian.
Yes, he is vegan.
What?
So I learned about him years ago. He used to do Cooking with Preacher, and he would just make food on his YouTube channel. But he's also hilarious, and he
Right.
made me laugh. And then I followed him more as a comedian than because he doesn't do that anymore. But it was just weird that you brought that up.
No, what's weird is look at this. This is
See, Kevin likes Preacher.
This is terrible.
Idea preacher is.
I don't like this at all.
Oh, welcome to my world. Guess what tomorrow is?
The anniversary of your heart attack.
Yeah, yep.
You don't have to
Five-
say. You don't have to say
5
guess when you
years.
lead into it like that. This is my
Five.
blood thinner.
Yep. What are you taking? You taking a blood thinner too?
Yeah.
Normally you take that after your heart issues.
Metoprolol.
I'm taking that too. Metrotoprol.
Metoprolol.
That's a proprol. Yeah, something like that. I take that. Which, yeah.
I have. If anyone watches the show, I have extraordinary anxiety, and it turns out that I'm not supposed to. I just have it because of a number of other conditions that exacerbate anxiety, one of them being hypertension. So that's the thing I do now.
Yeah, so that was one of my big things. Was I've had high blood pressure most of my life, and I was very bad about staying on my medication, and got yelled at after they went and looked at my heart and said, "Yeah, your heart muscle is like way too thick because you weren't taking your medication."
Well, I've got a stress test, which I watched a bunch.
Good night, A-Woods.
Good night, A-Woods. I watched a bunch of House, and I thought a stress test was like getting on a exercycle with an EKG, and they're like, no, we're going to put a medicine in you that makes your heart think you're dying, and then we're going to take pictures while it happens. And I was like, oh, cool. That sounds fucking terrible.
That's not a stress test I've ever done. Which reminds me, I'm supposed to schedule my stress test.
It's called atomic neuropathy stress test. Okay, thallium study.
Yeah. I'm doing the traditional stress test, get on a treadmill and run.
No, mine is like you cannot go on a treadmill.
No, mine's more. To John, it's more.
Mine is like if we put you on a treadmill, you'll straight up fucking die. So we're just gonna artificially stimulate your heart and take pictures while it happens. Thallium. I have so many bottles, which is crazy because my wife has like 18 bottles.
Is it a competition?
It's getting there.
Right. Let's do it. I'm doing black.
Mike, what are you doing to me? Don't do that. That's just mean.
Why don't you guys stream your games? You stream it on the PHP Ugly channel. We need more streams. That's our biggest issue is we only stream an hour a week.
So
streamer.
Game streaming only works if you have a camera that records you reacting to bad stuff. And Counter-Strike got decommissioned this week. So Counter-Strike 2 came out. I started Counter-Strike 2, and the UPS that powers my whole setup was like, no, it's too much, and started like very loudly screaming when I started Counter-Strike.
That's funny. You know, my UPS trip this week too. The current wife came running outside when we got home from taking the dog to the park. Like, there's a noise coming out of your office. I'm like, yeah. That's not that unusual. But yeah, for whatever reason, my UPS trip. Oh, guess what? I'm getting a Tesla.
No, you're not.
What?
No, you're not.
It's a Tesla battery. I'm getting a Tesla battery. I'm finally getting my.
I've got a
Like
million
getting-
Tesla batteries. What do you?
So I'm kind of excited. I'm gonna have 2 of those power walls. So yeah, kind of excited about that.
Tom, I muted
But-
you, so you're talking to nobody.
2 power walls is actually really cool.
According to the sales guy, in theory, we should be able to run like up to 3 days without any city power.
Well, SDG&E has a lot to say about that. Are you on?
No.
Are you on SDG&E?
No.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, it's still a monopoly, and it's still one company, and they're still shit. But I will say they don't seem as sleazy as SDG&E, who are
Your
particularly
wife
bad.
disagrees.
I
Where are the
forgot.
headshots at?
Supposed to be working on something.
Releasing the magazine? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, trust me, I wish.
I love Gavin's idea of a stress test. Do you have hair?
Did
I don't
you
know.
hear Gavin? According to the current wife, anyways, Gavin announced
Yes.
that they're raising the minimum wage of fast food workers to $20 an hour. So that means fast food workers are going to be making more money than some other professionals.
Yeah, they're supposed to.
They're supposed to.
Yeah.
Did I miss a memo or something?
I mean, sounds like it. The minimum wage was established to define the minimum of cost of living in the United States so that a person could have a job.
Right? No, you're right. You're right. Continue with that thought. I want you to explain.
Following
Explain yourself.
inflation, if the minimum wage were still to represent what it originally represented, the
Right.
minimum wage would be $26.
Do you hear yourself talking at all? I'm just curious. Like, does it register at all?
No, I have monitor turned off.
Yeah. Right.
Close back.
So the words you keep using is minimum wage. The minimum wage represents the cost for some. He didn't raise the minimum wage. He raised the minimum wage of fast food workers. So the fast food working industry has a higher minimum wage than the rest of the state. So you can't have the argument of, well, they have to do that because that's what I agree. The minimum wage needs to be increased, but you can't target like one group of people to raise it for. Otherwise, it's not a minimum wage anymore.
But I don't think he did. I think
Okay.
the way that it's being presented is hamburger flippers get $20.
Are you sure about that?
No, I'm not. I'm looking it up. Takes effect April 1st.
Of 2024?
Yeah.
He's being. It's an April Fool's joke.
No, but I'm serious. It does take place April 1st, 2024. How does it define fast food workers? Well, so the state's minimum wage is already $15.50.
Right. Which California does have one of the higher minimum wage, one of the higher minimum wages out there. Yes.
Interesting. All right, the new law takes effect April 1st and applies to workers at restaurants that have at least 60 locations nationwide, except those that make and sell their own bread.
Well, that seems oddly specific. So, like Subway, no, you don't get that.
Subway, Panera, except those that make and sell their own bread. So Subway, Panera. so the idea of exporting the manufacture of bread excludes you.
So that's what's going to happen. Now all these fresh bread places are no longer going to be fresh bread. They're going to contract out.
Other way around. Other way around. If it's a fresh bread place, then they pay minimum wage. If it's not a fresh bread place like McDonald's,
Oh, you're right. They would. Yeah, you're right. I see what you're saying.
So this inspires fast food places to make bread locally, which I don't necessarily agree, but rising tide raises all boats. If it's requiring McDonald's to make bread fresh daily, then it's going to raise the requirements for a minimum wage. That's interesting. So it establishes fast food as being places that don't make bread. That's a very interesting take.
Mm-hmm. It is indeed.
All right, one sec.
So what would pizza be considered though? Like that's still dough. I mean, I know it's not like a loaf of bread, but like pizza crust is bread. No take on that?
Sorry, I'm doing other stuff. Just
I do not accept your apology, John.
Good.
Pay attention to me. For anybody curious, how many people do we have watching still? Okay. For anybody curious, the relationship between John and I is very weird. And I often feel like a one-night stand who's like begging for him to return my text when I
What are you talking about?
Dude, you returned like 20% of my Slack messages.
I return all of your Slack messages. Thank you.
You are smoking crack. Smoking crack, John.
What did I not do this time?
I don't. I'm trying to create a funny and witty thumbnail here, so I don't have time to look it up.
You're like today. You're like, hey, can I buy this? I said, yeah, go for it. You deserve it. Look at me giving me all sorts of praise.
Oh yeah, why'd you laugh at me? Why'd you laugh at me?
Oh, I forgot. I meant to go back and write more on that. That laughing was your future message where you said, hey, you're gonna get this on Monday, and I clicked on the buttons and I said I'm a dork.
Let's see.
That make you feel better now?
Tom's back.
Sorry. Be quiet.
I thought you were laughing at how fast I whatever I did. I think I gave you okay or thumbs up or whatever. I thought you were laughing about how quickly I did that or something. Oh my god! You just walked away from your desk. You couldn't have done that then. Yeah, I love this pound cake. This is a funny one.
I like that you muted afterwards.
No. Whatever. The problem with thumbnails is like, it's just not enough room. It's coming tomorrow, John.
Yeah. Cool.
That's freaking Amazon. I just the logistics in Amazon is just so crazy.
Oh, yeah.
All right. All right. Thumbnail is complete. I don't know why the kid talks about how hard it is. Oh, I'm getting not blackmail. Blackmail's the wrong word. Strong armed by our thumbnail creator, saying that they have topped out of everything they can do in Canva, and now they need Photoshop. The current wife is like, yeah, let's get him Photoshop. I'm like, do you know how much that costs? It's like a car payment.
Do we have an extra license?
I keep meaning to ask, because I thought we had one for Carolyn, right? I can't believe I said that out loud, though. But yes,
I don't know that we did actually.
I mean, honestly, they can have mine. I literally do not use any other products that I can think of. Only because you do all the magazine stuff that requires them all.
Yeah.
So, and that's the only reason we have it is because of the magazine.
Yeah. Manage team. Trying to see what licenses we have.
Thank you, Becky,
Honey
for
Badger.
telling me that I was. Thank you, Becky, for telling me that I was muted. I didn't know.
John
I
totally
thought
told
you
you
were
that.
being-
John totally told you.
Oh,
Thank you.
I thought the mute button, not the just lowering my volume to 0.
So confused. I said it. What am I missing?
Anyways, we should go offline.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.